motherfucking Utah. It be looking nasty, looking everywhere. Smog up all in the valley. Call me Elon Musk, flexing in the session, cleaning up the air. That's what costs extra. If you've lived in Salt Lake for a winter, you know that our air gets pretty disgusting. And if nothing is done about it, it's only gonna get worse.
The prettiest spots in the country, the problem is dirty air.
You can see just how bad our air quality is.
Worst air in the country is actually hovering over Salt Lake City, Utah.
We're here to break down exactly what's going on, how it affects you, and what's being done. Because things are getting pretty bad.
Okay.
So you've probably heard someone complain about the inversion. But what actually is it? Typically, the air closer to the ground is warmer. This is due to the heat that comes off the Earth's surface. And since heat rises, the air closer to the ground moves upwards and circulates. Occasionally, cold air gets trapped near the ground under a layer of warm air that acts as a lid. The cold air can't rise, so it just kind of sits there. This means the normal atmospheric condition is inverted, which is why we call it an inversion. The most common time for an inversion is during the winter months. This is because the snow reflects the heat instead of absorbing it. Now, inversions happen all over the world and are considered to be a natural process. But why is our air so gross? It's partially because we're surrounded by mountains. We live in a bowl. And as we mentioned earlier, when the inversion rolls in, there's a lid on our bowl, so nasty things get stuck, like all of our pollution, or what scientists refer to as criteria pollutants, but still, very scary. The term criteria pollutant refers to 6 common air pollutants: ground level ozone, particulate matter, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, and lead.
That's quite a mouthful.
Luckily, Utah has never had any issues with lead or carbon monoxide. As of 2013, our ozone concentration was just below the national average. And thanks to improvements in equipment and processes at Kennecott Copper Corporation, our sulfur dioxide has seen a dramatic drop, placing us way below the national average. However, we do struggle greatly with particulate matter, aka PM, which is a mix of small and large particles found in our air. There are 2 main categories of PM, PM10 and PM2.5. And to make a long story short, PM10s are bigger than PM2.5s.
Okay, that makes sense.
To give you an idea, a strand of hair is 70 micrometers wide. A grain of sand is 50 micrometers wide. Now, particulate matter found in our air is only 10 and 2.5 micrometers wide. PM2.5s are small enough that when inhaled, they can seep deep into lung tissue and can even enter the bloodstream. So where do PMs come from? About 53% of all PM2.5s come from vehicle emissions. 34% come from homes and other buildings. And the last 12% come from industrial operations like refineries and factories. PM10s usually come from mechanical grinding and the mixing of fluid and particles from a solid material. Typically, PM10s are made up of metals from suspended road dust and organic debris. If you're sitting at home watching this and you're thinking, well, at least I'm safe inside, you're not.
What?
1 out of 3 homes in Utah contain dangerous levels of radon. Uranium, which is a radioactive element that naturally occurs in soil, decays, producing radon. For the most part, radon moves up through the soil and into the atmosphere and dilutes. This is good. What isn't good is when radon moves up through the soil into basements and then becomes trapped inside homes and buildings. Why isn't this good? Well, around 20,000 Americans die annually from lung cancer that was contracted due to radon exposure.
Jesus Christ.
However, with help, radon is easily detectable. And in the event that radon is detected, there are options. So at least you can sleep easy knowing that. So you're not safe breathing inside, and you're definitely not safe breathing outside. So what are you supposed to do? Find out this and more on our pollution episode, part 2. Until then, I'm Lexi Hogan.